In this nugget, we're going to learn about sensory language. What is sensory language? Sensory language is language that describes the five senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Now let's imagine we were asked to describe this image of a fishing boat in a lake in front of the mountains on a sunny day. Have a go at writing a sentence to describe each of the senses. Pause the video and make a note of each sentence describing each of the senses. Now let's look at some examples. We could describe what we see. In the distance, the mountains pierce the sky like shards of glass. We could describe what we can smell. The mountain breeze smelt fresh and clean. We could describe what we can taste. The salty sea air settled on my tongue. We can describe touch or what we can feel. The hot sun beat down on my shoulders. And we can describe what we can hear. The water lapped against the boat with a soft, rhythmic beat. It is a really good idea to describe the senses when you're writing, because it creates a vivid image for the reader. However, you do not need to describe all five senses. Describing 2 or 3 of the senses is enough. Can you spot sensory language being used in this passage? Let's read the extract together. As we are reading, listen out for any of the senses being described. I found myself on a deserted hillside, far from any house or sign of human life. In the distance, the mountains appeared charcoal under the slate sky. I was surrounded by a deep pine forest, and the clouds hung oppressively low, as if the earth were closing in on me. The rain lashed down in icy sheets against my face, and the biting wind was quick to take advantage of my skin's raw vulnerability. I pulled my hood down lower and braced myself against the drumming of the rain. Over the mossy mounds and muddy holes I trampled on, breathing in the smell of damp earth. Now, pause the video and see if you can identify any of the senses being described. In this description, the writer is given imagery of things they can see, such as the charcoal mountains and the slate sky, and the deep pine forest. In most descriptions, there will be a lot of imagery describing the sense of sight. There is also descriptions of the sense of touch. It describes the feeling of the rain lashing in icy sheets and the biting wind against their raw skin. There are also descriptions of the sense of sound. It describes the sound of the drumming rain. There are also descriptions of the sense of smell, breathing in the smell of damp earth. You may have noticed that there isn't a description of the sense of taste. That is perfectly fine, as you don't need to describe all 5 senses in one descriptive passage. Remember, sensory language is language that describes the 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Using sensory language helps create a vivid image for the reader, but you don't need to describe all 5 senses in every piece of descriptive writing.